Am I doing it right? Welcome to my YouTube channel. We are gathered here today, and by we, I mean I, and by gathered, I mean I'm here. There's this thing I like to do, which is expand and grow and be visible and then shrink and hide under a rock. I say I like to do it. I'm not sure if that's actually an appropriate way of phrasing it. I think it is something that's natural for me. And I do wonder often if things that come naturally for us are things that we should own and accept and honor for ourselves or question and seek to better understand whether something is still suiting us or serving us, rather. So, on the one hand, I honor the void that I often seek, and on the other hand, I honor the voice that seeks to speak. Hi, I'm Hope. I don't know how to do formal introductions. However, I would like to acknowledge my resurfacing in this world. That sounded very dramatic. And you know what? It is. Here I am to talk, speak, share, tell, express my truth, speak my voice. These are all the things I intend to do here. I intend to learn and grow and heal and evolve and share that in this format. It's been some time since I've shared on social media. I like to do this thing, which is go into the void every now and then and come back with hopefully goodies. Anytime you take a trip, you should always come back with some sort of souvenir. And when I go back to wherever we go, I hope to bring with me a lot of goodies. Cue Ciara. Ciara? Goodies? That's not this YouTube channel. All right, well, enough about me. I gave you nothing about. But you know what? This is a relationship. I can't just do what I did when I first started therapy and sit on the couch and tell her about every single possible neurosis or traumatic experience I had because I felt I had to fully divulge it all. I had to fully give her every possible thing that happened in my life that could have made me the way that I am. Because if she didn't have all that context, how would she ever understand or see me? And as I speak that aloud, I recognize one of my major problems. And I won't call it a problem. I will call it, you know what I want to say, right? Something about this microphone just makes me want to keep whispering and do ASMR. I'm going to be honest, I don't like ASMR, so I'm not going to do that. I will, however, keep practicing what it means to speak out loud because it has been a very long time. And I want to share with you something that I'm noticing in recent weeks. If you care to listen, take a seat. You might already be sitting. Take a stand. Stand. Sit. Sip tea. Listen to me. I'm not going to bust out in song now. I have been singing a lot. In the shower. Mostly in the shower. Really good acoustics in there. On a serious note, I'll come back. I'll circle back. I probably won't. I'll try to. When I first made YouTube videos back in the day, I didn't know what I wanted to make. And I remember I was probably like, I don't know, 19. And I made a video that was part balloon animal, like literally part me making balloon animals, and part some deep wisdom share. And I remember also talking about Buddhist teachings, and I've always contained this sort of like multiplicity of one level being very entertaining, comedic, light, Gemini sun, and one level being very deep, emotional, like almost the opposite of that, Scorpio moon, and struggling to find the bridge between the two. What I wanted to share is that I'm in a season of my life where certain things are becoming clearer in that the ways that I've grown and healed, there are certain things that are much less tolerable, whereas in the past, it's easier to convince yourself of a lesson or some deeper juice to squeeze out of a thing. And I'm kind of at a point where it's more apparent to me when something has no more juice. The fruit has dried up. And I'm noticing that in the recognition of that and in the recognition of the places that no longer contain me, there's a lot coming up about containers. I've been in therapy for the past year and a half for the first time ever in my life and have truly been understanding the significance of containers. I actually really want to talk about because this space is a container and I've always felt that I had to really be my truest, most vulnerable expression in coming here and in meeting with you here and in choosing to speak. And there's a difference between being vulnerable and being transparent. And I'm learning there are certain spaces where when we offer our vulnerability, we do more harm than good. To me, being vulnerable or being true, being honest is a very high core value of mine, but recognizing the container for that. Anyway, there was something I wanted to circle back to. I was talking about making YouTube videos and never knowing which part of the multiplicity to share. And the current recognition in my life that I tend to want to squeeze the juice out of everything and look at it and say, what else is here for me? It's here, so what else is here for me? And instead, now I'm giving myself permission to choose to, to declare for myself, to have agency over what I continue to engage with. There have just been certain moments and experiences and interactions with people that have become abundantly pristine in, oh, that that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good to my body, to my mind, to my soul, to my spirit. Where do I shift? How do I move? How do I posture myself with this thing that's showing up to best honor all of me? And so there's been an internal declaration and recognition of, whoa, I won't tolerate that. Whoa, I don't like that. That's a big one. Having likes, preferences, wants, needs, and recognizing how quickly, maybe it's something with the planets right now, how quickly things are pivoting and adjusting around that declaration, around the anchor I am becoming. It literally feels like the second I drop this anchor of truth, of recognition, the ship, my life, pauses in the sea. There's something in the internal recognition and declaration that says to the ocean, I'm here. Now I can't control the waves. The boat still moves in the same way that the leaves of a tree still move with the wind, but I'm grounded and I'm rooted in my truth. And when I do that, others have to adjust. Others have to respond in kind, adjust their posture. I see from so many angles that it's very easy for me to put myself, most times, in someone else's shoes and in an attempt to see what they're seeing from their own eyes. That this pause, this internal anchor gives them the space to see things from my eyes. There's somebody in my life that I have to deal with. I don't have to, that I deal with on a regular basis in a professional setting who has very different communication, energy, approach, vantage point. We are very different people. We know that. We've figured out a way to speak to one another more or less, to work with one another more or less, but there's still that very clear difference. And in recent weeks, it was becoming even more clear to me the juxtaposition, if that's the right word, the disparity or the dissonance between my energy and this person's energy. And I sort of allowed myself that recognition of, okay, I've shifted and positioned myself in such a way to flex, to mold, to bend around this energy that does not naturally flow with mine. And wow, I'm kind of tired of doing that. Wow, that kind of actually hurts. That doesn't feel good. And giving myself permission to not feel good about it. And in doing so, I almost there feels to be no such minimal time right now between that flag in the sand or line in the sand rather, of here I am, this is the space I occupy, this is where it feels good to me, and something else or someone else shifting around that. And today, this person came to me in just a regular conversation, spent 10 minutes expressing to me how much working with me in the past few years has changed them for the better. This is someone that I've been having like this internal, let me sit with the truth of, oof, I don't know. I don't know that I want to engage with that in that way. It doesn't feel good. And this person's coming to me and saying, hey, you have changed me. I didn't know what to do with that. Like, on one hand, whoa, what's going on here? The universe is up to something. There's almost no space between cause and effect. The moment I decide that something is no longer a match for me, the moment it shifts, what is up with that? And on the other hand, to sit with, I want to say, the discomfort. Wow, this actually means a lot, and I don't know how to shift in the nature of this professional context into a mode that is actually the like true real mode for me, the human to human. What are our souls doing here? Like in the world of jobs and work and career, you really have to really take on this role and this persona, and that's never been comfortable for me. And so to be given the opportunity to merge the two in a space where there felt to be no space for it, simply to allow the expression of someone else's perspective, of someone else's shifted vantage point, that is a direct result of me being me, standing firm in my truth. I was offered recognition from the outside. I was offered a moment to reflect on the weight of what honoring my truth and myself has the ability to shift for others. And that's honestly frightening. With this recognition of power, of having the ability to impact another person, there is really big fear and anxiety and a lot to work through around, do I want that power? Do I want to have that responsibility? And in that, allowing others to have responsibility for their lives, knowing that others are accountable for their own lives, and I am accountable for mine. And so I think ultimately, when I take my power back, recognize my power, recognize my truth, and act from it, act from what I want, what I need, what I desire, put a pin in that, things shift, things change. I change, others change, and that's beautiful. And I want to exist in a space where that is possible and is true. And maybe this is just my reflection of that. It's one thing for me to experience it and to recognize it for myself, and it's something else for me to distill and synthesize and share. Because I'm sure you experience similar things, and sometimes it's nice to hear someone else and what they experience and what they see. And I'm going to give myself space to be that someone else for you, should you choose to join me. Okay, depending on what I end up cutting out of this video, it is a long one. So I'm going to leave it there, but I'll be back. I am back. We're back, baby.